Fittest in PE, workout number 3, this one presented by Grumpy Monkey. Our workout will again be a 2-part workout with a total time cap of 20 minutes. Part A will consist of a 12-minute AMRAP. The athlete will be performing as many reps as possible of 8 alternating dumbbell snatches and then 8 meters handstand walk, followed by 8 burpee box jump overs and then again 8 meters worth of handstand walk. So quite a bit of shoulders on this one. The athlete will complete their 12 minutes and then move straight into part B, where they'll be performing 21, 15 and 9, and some nice heavy deadlifts and of course some handstand push-ups. Tough workout, good luck. Workout 3 is a 2-part workout. Part A will start with a 12-minute AMRAP where the athlete completes 8 dumbbell snatches. Our movement standards here for the RX athletes include having both dumbbell heads make contact with the floor before snatching directly overhead, where they'll meet full lockout at the top of the movement. Dumbbell snatches need to be alternating. The athlete will then move over to their 8-meter handstand walk. 8 meters worth of handstand walk will be between the 2 beacons, measured out for 8 meters. This needs to be done and completed unbroken. As the athlete passes over the beacon, they will begin their 8 burpee box jump overs. Our burpee box jump over movement standards for our RX athletes include them having to clear the box between reps. The athlete then moves over to an additional 8 meters worth of handstand walk. If the athlete were to break and come down during the middle of their handstand walk, they will be required to go back to the beginning where they will initiate their 8 meters worth of handstand walk. This again needs to be completed unbroken before the athlete can continue with their dumbbell snatches. Part A is a 12-minute AMRAP. Once the athlete completes their 12 minutes worth of AMRAP, they'll move directly into Part B for a total time cap of 20 minutes. This is 21, 15 and 9 on our deadlift. Our RX athletes will be required to stand that weight tall, hips and knees both locked out. Shoulders need to be behind the barbell for the rep to count. Handstand push-ups movement standard here. The athlete's hands may not be wider than the blue mats provided. At the bottom of the rep, the athlete needs to make contact with the floor, and at the top, the athlete may only have their heels in contact with the wall while their hands are locked out. Please remember that when starting your handstand push-ups, you need to begin at the top of that movement, fully locked out before you can begin. Workout 3, movement standards for our intermediate athletes. Workout 3 is a 2-part workout. Part A is a 12-minute AMRAP. The athlete will begin with 8 alternating dumbbell snatches. The athlete needs to ensure that the dumbbell makes contact with the floor with both heads of the dumbbell and that they are fully locked out at the top of their movement through the hips and through the elbow. Once the athlete has completed all their dumbbell snatches, they will move over to their 8 meters worth of handstand walk. The athlete needs to make sure that their hands start behind the cone, both hands behind the cone before they begin their 8 meters worth of handstand walk, and the 8 meters is only completed once both hands pass past the cone. The athlete can then begin with their 8 burpee box jump overs. The requirement here is that the athlete clears the box and or then makes contact with the top of the box between reps. The athlete will then complete an additional 8 meters worth of handstand walk, again beginning behind the cone and moving through their handstand walk. If the athlete is to come down, they will be required to start behind the line of the meter which they did not complete before continuing. Part A of our workout is a 12-minute AMRAP. The athlete will then move directly into Part B of their workout with an additional 8 minutes, totaling 20 minutes total time cap for this workout. Part B consists of 21, 15, 9 reps of deadlift and handstand push-ups. Our movement standard here for our deadlift is that the athlete needs to make full extension at the top of their rep, knees and hips locked out, shoulders behind the barbell. For our intermediate athletes, the handstand push-up movement standards include assistance by an ab mat. The athlete's hands may not be wider than the blue mat provided. Their head can then make contact with the ab mat as they drive up out of the bottom of the rep. The only thing allowed to make contact with the wall at the top of the rep is the athlete's heels here. The movement begins at the top, locked out. Workout 3, movement standards for our scaled athletes. The workout is a 2-part workout, beginning with a 12-minute AMRAP of 8 dumbbell snatches. The dumbbell needs to move from the floor overhead. Both heads need to make contact with the floor at the bottom, and the athlete needs to be locked out at the hips and at the elbow at the top of this movement. The athlete will then be performing 8 meters worth of bear crawl. Bear crawl, the athlete is required to start behind the line with his hands and pass past the cone with both their feet before they're allowed to move over to their burpee, box, jump, overs. The athletes for our scale division will be allowed to step up and over their box. Only one foot needs to make contact with the top of the box before the athlete is allowed to continue. After their 8 reps here, the athlete is then required to complete an additional 8 meters worth of bear crawl. Movement standard here is that the athlete needs to ensure that their hips are higher than their shoulders at all times. The athlete will then be moving on to part B of the workout, which will include 21, 15, and 9 reps of deadlifts and hand release push-ups. For the deadlifts, our movement standard here is that the athlete needs to make sure that their hips are fully locked out at the top as well as their knees, and that their shoulders pass behind the barbell at the top of each rep. Push-ups movement standard is that the athlete's chest needs to make contact with the floor at the bottom, hands up off the floor, and at the top the athlete needs to be fully locked out at the elbow for the rep to count. Only his feet are allowed to touch the floor.